Okay, binomial coefficients. We're going to use the binomial theorem to find them. Okay? So for an expansion of the x plus y to the n power, this is what this is saying. We talked about this already. Yeah, this is fancy math stuff. This is x to the n power, which we talked about, right? If that was 8, that would be a what? 8, right? And if that was 8, we know the first term here would be 8. Whatever the n is, the first term after, well, this is really the second term, is x. And then if this was x, n number of x's, this one's always what? Minus 1, right? This one had no y's, and this one has what? 1 y's. And what this is saying is, each x is getting what? Smaller and smaller. Then when you get to the next to last one, you have 1x and then no x's. And the y's are what? Starting with none to 1, and they're growing until you have all of them to 1 less than that. And then right here, this NCR, we're going to talk about that. That's how we're going to find the coefficient that's in front of the number. And what this is a fancy way of saying is this, y'all. R will be the exponent on the y's. Everybody got it? R is the exponent on the y's. And this is the fancy way of saying, like, if the n was 8 and r was 5, what's 8 minus 5? 3. Because remember, the exponents have to add to make the n term, right? Like if we have 8, the exponents have to add to make 8. So if that's 5, then that would have to be then 3. So what's 3 plus 5? 8. So that's what this is saying. This is saying, basically, whatever you have minus your y's, that's how many x's you have. That's just a fancy way to say it. Got it? That's all that means. And now we're going to actually find out what NCR means. Not NPR, not National Public Radio. Okay? And this is saying, basically, remember your y's, your x's. And here's what it is. Does anybody know what a factorial is? What's the factorial mean? So remember, that was like about 2 weeks ago. The exclamation point. It's not like the old Batman thing where they go pow and there's an exclamation point at the end, right? Not that kind of exclamation, right? Anybody remember the Batman TV show with that on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Just love that. All right. What's the meaning of the exclamation point? No one remembers?
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
plus,
yeah.
plus, plus, right?
Multiply, yeah. Not plus, 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 but multiply, multiply. So it's like,
multiply.
so 5 factorial is like 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is. So what this is saying, y'all, so what this is saying is this. To find the coefficient, take whatever the term is. So let's say it's 8. That would be there. Okay, that means all the exponents add up to 8. And if r is 5, that would be 3. These two numbers have to add to make that number. That's why it's called n minus r. Because if I take n minus r plus r, if I add n minus r plus r, what happens to the r's? They cancel out and you have n. That's why it's defined that way. Got it? This is the number of exponents on the x. This is the number of exponents on the y term. That's all it means. Okay? The x term and the y term, the number of exponents make the n. So, sometimes it'll be written like this here, n over the r. Okay? So that's kind of like, that's what it means. All right? Now then, so, how do we do this? We asked that question. Here's the way that we do this. Okay? This means 8. There's 8. The exponent's 8. Everybody got it? Exponents have to add up to 8, and that means the y is 2. So what I'm saying is, that means there's 8, the exponents add up to 8, and there's 2 y's. So here's my question. If there's 2 y's, and the exponents add up to 8, how many x's are there? And how do we get it? They have to add up to 8, and there are 2 y's. What's 8 minus 2? 6. So what that means is there are 6 x exponents and 2 y. Y exponents, because then that adds up to what? 8. That's all it's asking you. Got it? That's all it's asking. Okay? Nothing more than that. So, how do I work this problem? Notice, I just wrote 8 times 7 times 6 factorial because this is 6 factorial times 2 factorial. What's going to happen to the 6 factorials?
Cancel out.
They're going to cancel out. So now I have 8 times 7 times 2 times 1. 2 will actually go into 8 4 times. 4 times 7 is 28. So pretty, not that hard. So let's look at the next one. Now the next one's just written differently. This is the same thing as saying that's 10 and that's 3. So the 10 would be how many total what? Exponents. 10 total exponents, so 10 is going to go on top. There's 3 y's, so how many x's are there?
7.
7. So here's what I'm going to have. I'm going to have a 10 on top, 7 factorial, 3 factorial. Now here's what's really cool. I can write them down to 7 because what's going to happen at 7? They're going to what? Cancel out. So I'm going to have 10, 9a times what? 1, 2, 3. And I could take 10 times 9 times 8, which is like 720, I think. Or 700, no, 790 times 8, 9 times 8, yeah, 720, that'd be right. Then divided by 6 makes it what? 120, right? 3 times 2 is 6. If I multiply those out and divide it by that, I get 120. That would be the term in front of it for a 10 factorial. That's like the 10th term. Guess when you get bigger numbers, right? Now, all right, let's do that right there. Tell you what, stop right there.